Roughly about 800 steelhead a day are still coming over Lower Granite Dam and moving up into the confluence of the Snake and the Clearwater River. Now, there's different methods that you can utilize to catch these fish as you move from the confluence up into the Clearwater, up into the Snake. And I'm going to go over one of my favorite setups with you guys here today. Welcome back to another episode of Walking on Water. In this episode, we are going to talk about my #1 Clearwater River steelhead setup that I would fish the majority of the time, depending on the water, obviously, but this is by far one of the most effective setups, whether or not you're fishing in the confluence where it's deeper or you're fishing a nice pocket up on the Clearwater. This method is hyper effective. And I also had a lot of questions and comments saying, hey, I wish you would show a little bit more of the setup, talk about the setup a little bit more. So in this video, we are going to go over that right now. Just to break it down really fast, like I always do, we have the Kmar 2500 reel by Okuma. So an Okuma Kmar 2500 series reel, perfect for steelhead, perfect for salmon. You can even go up to the 3000 reel, like this beautiful KASTKING that I have in front of me here today. But this just so happens to be a 25. I have a 3000 reel on my other spinning rod that I use for steelhead and salmon. And so I don't really notice much of a difference when it comes to the 25 and the 3000 series reel. But then I have just the Okuma 9.6 SST. And for this rod, for me, when I'm fishing either from the bank or from a boat, it's super castable, hyper effective, nice soft tip, and a nice stiffer back. Perfect rod for the application that I'm using it for. Now, the second thing that I do after I put my braid on, this is 40-pound Enforcer braid by Addicted. I blood knot about 15 to 20 feet of a leader, just like so, okay? This so happens to be a 20-pound fluorocarbon. And then obviously I go down to a lot lighter leader down here. That's just so I like to run the blood knot bumper on there. So when I run my bobbers and stuff, they're not directly on the braid. I know some fish aren't that line shy, but I just like to be safe and make sure that I have everything dialed in the way I like it. And so I do like to blood knot on the line. Now, into the actual setup itself, and I just put out a short, and if you watch one of my steelhead videos, I talked about this setup in that video. This can be fished at the confluence of the Snake and the Clearwater. This can be fished in any amount of moving water, unless you're talking just extreme rapids. This is a super effective, super simple, and easy setup that anybody can do. Plus the bait, the business end, the bait that you're gonna be putting on can vary all the way from bait, AKA real bait, to beads, to corkies, to hard beads, to yarn, to yarnies. Anything you can really imagine, you can run below a bobber setup. And that's what we're gonna talk about right now. Just how I do my bobber setup. People have been asking for a more specific video, and I have put out videos on this before, but after I blood knot on the line, you simply run a bobber stop up the line. Super simple, super easy. I like to use the string bobber stops. And so I like to pull that string as tight as I can, get my scissors. I like to leave about an inch of a tag. I cut it, bring it up, because it will loosen up throughout the day. And so I do like to be able to grab some pliers, pull on that, readjust it, make it tight again if you're changing depths a lot. If you're traveling up and down the bank, it's really good because you can tighten it right back up, throw it down to 6 feet, tighten it, throw it up to 8 feet, fish that for a while, 10 feet, and you're tightening it easily, okay? This is more of a confluence bobber for me, just because it's super light. It's a 1/4 ounce BU-Mac bobber, and of course I run it with a bead above it so it doesn't slide up over that bobber stop, okay? This is super simple, guys. This is a 20-pound, 20-foot bumper that I blood knotted to my braid. Super easy. Blood knots are a little frustrating every once in a while, but keep tying them and you'll get them. This is just a 1/4 ounce BU-Mac inline weight that I like to run. And this, if you're wondering, the 1/4 ounce weight is more than enough to get you down to depth if you are fishing the confluence of the Snake and the Clearwater River. Yes, you're fishing in 20 feet of water, maybe 26 feet of water, and I like to run my gear specifically down to the lower levels of the body of water, so I'm at about 18 feet, all the way up to about 14 feet. I'm not really fishing the high up top side of the water column, specifically because a lot of those fish are down a little bit lower traveling up that river. Generally, they're not going to be right on the surface. And I'm only saying that from experience, right? I just got back from 2 trips down to the confluence. My son and I, a different son, are actually planning another trip. We are leaving here in about 3 days. And so we're going back down and we are going to do a ton of freaking steelhead fishing, and I cannot wait. But what I learned day 1 is we were running about 6 to 8 feet, maybe up to 10 feet deep. And we got maybe 3 bites, but nothing that actually stuck. And the 3 bites in comparison to the 5 to 7 fish that we caught in the days that were getting ready to come after that day, it doesn't seem like anything at all, really. So I've learned that in the confluence, you want to be fishing the bottom half of that water column, and a 1/4 ounce weight, just like this one right here, is more than enough. And another very important piece of information that I did learn, the 1/4 ounce weight caught me a bunch of fish. I had a rod that had a 2 ounce cannonball on it with a 2 ounce salmon bobber. I fished it for 2 days straight, and I did not get one single hit on that bobber or that rod throughout the first 2 days. I was confused. The bobber was sitting straight up and down because it was a 2 ounce bobber and there's a 2 ounce weight on it. And so in my mind, I kept thinking, okay, maybe it's the frickin' tension on the line, because with these lighter weights, when it does move, you know what I mean? It's got a nice flowy motion to it, you know what I mean? Now, if you see something that's kind of stiff moving up and down in the water like so, once a wave comes in and stuff like that, all that tension's right there. So it's going to pull, that big weight's going to pull that down and pop up, pull it down, pop up. And so it's not as natural as a coon shrimp actually being in the water in my mind. So the only way that I was able to prove that the weight was actually the problem is I threw on a little pencil lead. I have a ton of pencil leads punched out that I use for side drifting, and I threw one of those on. Don't know the exact weight. It had to have been close to a 1/4, maybe a 1/2 ounce. And not even 10 minutes later, we had a freaking fish on that rod for the first time in 3 days. And so the weight does actually play a difference. Don't go put on a 2 to 3 ounce bobber out there, throw 2 to 3 ounces of lead, get it out there because you think that you need to be all the way down to the bottom and it's 20 feet deep, and that a 1/4 ounce isn't going to get you there. So if I could give any advice, 3/4 of an ounce down to a 1/4 of an ounce of weight on your bobbers, no more, and you will find success if you're fishing that bottom side of the water column. Now, down to my actual hooks. We hooked into a 9.92 pound steelhead with this exact setup, and a lot of people like to run treble hooks down there. They thread the coon shrimp on, so on and so forth. I simply like to run a size 2 steelhead hook up top, super small. This is just hooking into my coon shrimp. That's all it's doing. Hook it through the top just like so. And then I like to run as my stinger hook a size 4 little offset octopus hook, just like this one in front of you. And I tie them in a double non-slip mooching rig, offset of course. So that means the top hook is facing up and the bottom hook is facing down. If you want to learn how to tie up this non-slip mooching rig, go over to my channel, Walking on Water Fishing. Look up how to tie up a non-slip mooching rig. You will find that video and it will show you exactly how to tie this up. But the purpose of this top dark hook, if you see you have a dark hook and you have a silver hook, this just hooks through the tail of the coon shrimp like so. This gap right here, this 2-finger gap, is usually the size of the coon shrimp that I like to use. I'm kind of particular on the size. I feel like some are too big and some are just too small. And so I like to find those ones that are just right in the middle, about 2 inches in length seems to be perfect for me. And so I hook that through the back of the tail, and this hook dangles right there in the front. So once we are actually set up and fishing and this is in the water, it's sitting like this, that fish comes up, pecks at the coon shrimp up top, peck, peck, peck. You feel the bobber go under because it's swimming with it, and then you're setting the hook. Just like a bead bite where they're biting that bead and the hook pulls straight through, just like so. They come up, they bite the bead, you rip, sets the hook right in the corner of the mouth, and that is exactly how you start bunking fish up there. All right, so this is the super simple, super easy bobber setup, and you can run it anywhere on that river. There's some places that it's a little bit better to side drift. There's a lot of people out there back trolling, so on and so forth. But if you're a bank and an occasional boat fisherman, I would go with a bobber setup a lot of the times. There's a lot of good holes in that river. There's a lot of pockets that are above 6 to 8 feet deep, and there's a lot of 20-foot spots. So you can run a bobber effectively in a lot of places. Now, if you're out there on your boat, then back trolling, side drifting, bobber dogging, those three methods come in a lot more often than not. You know what I mean? You can still side drift while you're floating a bobber for sure. Now, is it the most effective way to do it from a boat? Probably not. You could probably throw on a side drifting method, some eggs, a yarny with some scent on it, a bead, and you could find success that way too, as well as back trolling, And so there's a ton of different methods. This is just one of my favorite methods that I like to use on the Clearwater in the confluence. And we are going to start this next trip off in the confluence. I'm taking my son Nash with me, and he is yet to catch a steelhead. And so with close to 1,000 still coming over the dam, we're going to start there day one. We're going to go pick up some of those light strike lures. We're going to do a little night fishing, and we are going to troll for some during the day as well as back troll and see if we can't knock a big one dead. And so that is specifically everything that we are looking forward to here in the next week. But little update on the channel itself. Again, we are going over to the confluence here in a week. We're traveling back down there. It's a couple hours away from home, and we are going to stay there for 4 days. We're going to be putting in a lot of time for these steelhead this season, just because we have such an amazing run and such an amazing fishery right outside of our back door. So super excited for that. Then moving into the future post steelhead trip, we're going to be looking to target some big brown trout as well as some Kamloops rainbows on Lake Pend Oreille. That is kind of the timeline that we're looking at for the next month. But I posted a while ago that I have a giveaway for you guys, and I just want to say, first of all, God bless every single one of you that ever watched the channel. It's slow growing for sure, but it's work and dedication, and it is growing. And so it's just so fun to watch, the numbers actually go up, and just to be able to travel to more places and fish, and just to get to spend my life doing something that I love so much, in which is fishing. And so KASTKING hit me up recently, and we are having a little bit of an error with the link they sent me that I'm supposed to be giving out to people. So if they do shop through KASTKING, they can utilize the link, but we're diagnosing that issue. Nonetheless, they sent me this reel for free and really wanted me to use it and, tell them what I thought. And I thought, what better of an opportunity to take this reel and give it to one of you guys that have been supporting the channel for so long. And it's a great reel. It is a Capstan 3000 series reel. It's completely stainless steel, and so it is technically a saltwater reel because it cannot rust, so they claim, and it is absolutely gorgeous. You don't need any electrical tape or mono backing or anything like that because it does already have the grooved spool. As well as, what a sick color, you guys. Just a sick green and black. It's a 3000 series reel. And I picked the 3000 series reel because I'm a salmon and steelhead fisherman at heart, purely through and through. And so, if I was going to want one, I would want, a 25 or a 3000 series reel. So I went with 3000. And so, what do you need to do to be entered to win this reel? This isn't going to be a just this video giveaway. We are going to run this giveaway for 3 weeks starting today, 10/20/24. It is a Sunday. And this is going to go live at 6:30. So in 3 weeks from now on Sunday, we are going to announce the winner of this 3000 series reel. Subscribe to the channel, like and share videos, comment down below. All right. How to enter to win this beautiful 3000 series KASTKING reel. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, of course, and comment down below. I don't care what you comment. In the next 3 weeks, there's going to be 2 videos posted a week. Comment on every single one of those, and you will be entered to win this 3000 series reel. Again, All you got to do is subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment on one of the videos in the next 3 weeks, and you will be entered to win the Capstan 3000 series reel by KASTKING. She is an absolute beautiful freaking reel, and I hope whoever wins it absolutely enjoys it. But thank you guys so much for being a part of Walking on Water. I cannot emphasize that enough. The channel has definitely been growing in the last year, and we're getting close to my goal this year. My goal is to reach 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and we are at 4,213 right now. It's a big ask, but if you haven't subscribed already, subscribe to the channel, like the video and comment on videos, share them out to your friends and family, and you will be entered to win the Capstan. I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but I'm saying it that way anyways. 3000 series reel by KASTKING. Also, guys, if you watch my videos and you want to be a part of any community, join the private fishing Facebook group, Walking on Water Fishing, as well as go over to Patreon, check out the tiers. If you are interested in any of those tiers, think about subscribing to my Patreon. It will definitely help support me in future trips and to be able to just go to amazing places to fish. But if it's not for you, 100% A-okay, no sweat off my back at all. I'm still going to be grinding out here no matter what. So thank you guys. God bless you guys. And I hope you have an amazing week. Enter to win this, bad girl. Check you in the next one.